Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of the WrestleWorld podcast. It's me, Prince Trajan, and today we're going to be reviewing AEW Collision. The whole show was full of surprises, and now let's get straight into it. So the first match of the night was for the AEW World Trios Championships. It was Hangman and Brodito defending it against the Lethal Twist. The match was great, and Brody King ended up pinning Lee Johnson to win it. So now Hangman and Brodito have defended their first ever AEW World Trios Championships together. But they weren't able to celebrate their win too long because of Ricochet. I say this because he appeared on the ramp and he was talking while the Gates of Agony came from behind and attacked the World Trios champions. And this whole after the match segment is leading up to their rematch at All In, I'm assuming, but I'll cover that more in another video. The next thing that happened after that was a promo between Brian Cage and Hechicero ahead of their match later on in the night. Don Callis even tried to translate for Brian Cage and it wasn't what he said at all. After that was another promo with Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. Orange Cassidy is scared that whoever wins this match might face him in the next round of the Continental Cup, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Kyle and Roderick agreed that whatever happened in the match wouldn't change anything in their friendship. But after that, it was Brian Cage versus Hechicero in the round 1 of the Continental Cup. The match was overall pretty mid and Hechicero ended up winning, meaning he advances on to round 2. But after the match, Hechicero and Brian Cage shared some heated words, but now let's go on to the next thing. After that was a backstage promo from Darby Allin, and throughout the whole promo he was talking about the meaning of family and what Kevin Knight thinks that means. He said that he wasn't going to sneak attack or use explosives until Wembley Stadium because he wants to face Kevin Knight at 100%, so there's no excuses after he beats him. He stated that Kevin Knight is one of the greatest TNT champions that there is, but that's not going to stop him from putting an end to his reign. After that, the Rascals were backstage, and that's when Lio Rush interrupted, and they ended up making an 8-man tag match that was going to happen later on the show. I honestly don't know where AEW is going with this, but now let's go to the next match. The next thing that happened was the AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions, the Divine Dominion, were in action. They ended up winning the match super easily, and then the Brawling Birds came down to beat them up. The Divine Dominion eventually bailed out of the ring, and then they had a stare down just building onto their match later on in the month. After that, Zeta Steel was backstage and she got interrupted by Mercedes Moné. Zeta told Mercedes that she lost respect for her after what she did to Willow Nightingale recently, but Mercedes didn't care, so she cheap shotted her and said she was going to teach her respect in their match later on in the night. The next match was another Continental Cup match. It was between Katsuyori Shibata and Nigel McGuinness. This match was pretty great. It was just two technical wrestlers going at it. And Nigel won this great match, but the thing is, he actually got injured after it, and we're going to find out more information about this on Monday's live stream, when Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone are going to go over the round 2 matches of the Continental Cup. I'm assuming that maybe Shibata will just go in the round 2 and replace Nigel, but I'm not sure. After that, Renee Paquette was standing backstage with Will Ospreay, trying to figure out who his 2 partners are going to be on Dynamite when he fights the Don Callis family in a trios match. He told Renee he was going to call up his boys from Japan to come down and help him in the match, meaning that the United Empire is going to be teaming up with him this Wednesday. After that, it was Lio Rush and the Rascals in an 8-man tag match. But since the match was against jobbers, you already knew that the Rascals and Lio Rush were going to win. They celebrated on the ramp and got interrupted by the Hurt Syndicate. They stared him down and then continued to go to the ring for their match next. They were teaming up with the Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty, to take on more jobbers. Shane Taylor ended up getting the pin, and after they celebrated, the Hurt Syndicate was nowhere to be found. After that, Tommaso Ciampa speaks on the Casino Gauntlet match that's going to happen at AEW All In. He talks about how he came to AEW just so he can win the AEW World Championship, basically meaning that you're the face of the company and the face of this industry. We already know that Andrade El Idolo and MJF have the number 1 and 2 spots for this Casino Gauntlet match, and Tommaso Ciampa said that you better hope that I'm not the third, basically promising that he's going to be in the Gauntlet match regardless. The next match was Mercedes Moné versus Zeta Steel. Zeta Steel came out with Christopher Daniels to cheer her on, but of course she didn't end up winning because Mercedes has to win because she would lose momentum if she lost ahead of her match with Willow Nightingale later on in this month. So even after Mercedes won, she still beat down Zeta Steel and Christopher Daniels until Willow Nightingale came out to their save. Mercedes ran off in the crowd and Willow Nightingale also got on the mic, stating that she knows that she can beat Mercedes and that she's still smiling. After that, we had a backstage promo from Dynamite. It was Jack Perry after losing his match against Jon Moxley in the first round of the Continental Cup. He says that he might not be on the level to become AEW World Champion, but to push himself up there, he wants to beat some of the former World Champions such as Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and even Swerve Strickland, who interrupted. Swerve even talks about how he beat all of the people that he was talking about, like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page. He said that his match with Jon Moxley on Dynamite was a pretty tough one, but he had told Perry that he might not be able to walk around with the Killers yet. But then as Swerve was about to walk off, he blocked him and said, "I think I am." Then Swerve told him not to bring a knife to a sword fight, and then he just walked off after that. I honestly don't know where they're going with this. I'm just assuming that this was just a one-time meetup and they shouldn't really have a match anytime soon. And besides, in my prediction video coming out later this week, I have 2 different predictions on what Swerve can do at All In, so stay tuned for that video. But after that, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were backstage and they got interrupted by Cage and Cope. Kenny said that this was personal between the Young Bucks and Cage and Cope, so he decided to leave. And Cage and Cope go back and forth with the Young Bucks talking about how old they were when they started wrestling. And it was a whole thing, and I think the promo was pretty good overall, especially leading up to their match at All In for the Tag Team Championships. I think it'll be a good match and I can't wait to see it. But after that was the main event. It was Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong in the round 1 Continental Cup match. And it was 2 friends going at it, and they haven't wrestled in a one-on-one match since 2024 when Roderick Strong was the international champion. Kyle O'Reilly ended up winning, and I think that this really should have been the case, and then Orange Cassidy came down. However, Roderick Strong pushed O'Reilly to the ground, but I think he knew he was wrong because he picked him up after, and then they hugged after, so I'm assuming that Roderick's feelings just got over. But that was the end of the show, and it was honestly a pretty great Collision show. We've got 2 more weeks until All In happens, so make sure you stay tuned for my new prediction video coming out later this week. So that was the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.